Hello, in this video we're going to talk about Insert Learning, which is actually a Chrome extension that you can add into your Chrome browser. It allows you to then ask questions on top of web pages. From this, data is collected when you create a class within your Insert Learning account. So students would basically go into their Insert Learning account to view an assigned lesson. They would click on the link, which would take them to the web page, and this web page would view as normal, but within it would be the embedded questions that would appear right on top of the web page. So it's a great way of just kind of having everything in one area versus having them look at a web page and then go to another area to complete an assignment or complete questions about it. Everything is embedded right within the website. And again, this is an add-on with the Chrome extension. To begin, you want to go to Insert Learning and create your account. After doing so, you want to create a class. So we'll just create a new class and give it a name. What is also great is that if you use Google Classroom, it will import your classroom in your class list right within. Notice that you can add in a co-teacher by inviting a co-teacher, which would allow them to have access to look at the graded documents and that kind of thing. Notice that there is a class code that you will need to give to your students for them to be able to enroll in your class. And so they can just go to insertlearning.com, sign up, and then they would create their account as a student and then include this class code to be able to enroll in your class. After you've created your class, the next thing you want to do is create a lesson. So we'll choose a new lesson. This explains the different ways that you can create a lesson. This is where it's going to mention installing the extension for your web page. So what you want to do is go ahead and install the extension, which happens at the top on your Google Chrome browser. It's a simple walkthrough, and you just simply install it into your browser. When the extension is installed, you'll notice that's in the top right corner in your Chrome browser. Next, you want to find the web page that you would like to add content to. Then choose your Insert Learning link, and you'll open up with a toolbar. Insert Learning has some lesson templates that have been designed for general types of activities. So in this case, I'm looking at a website evaluation, so I might choose to use that template. Notice that you don't have to use a template. You can choose to dismiss it and just create your own questions. So from here, I'm able to see different types of questions that I might use when I create my Insert Learning activity. So some of the main types of tools that you can do is you can highlight text, you can insert a sticky note, you can insert a question, or you can insert a discussion. Notice that there are more options here where you can like edit lesson info, view it as a student, that kind of thing, but the main tools are going to be here. So when you're looking on your website, you can choose to highlight some text if you think it might be important. You can continue to click on the icon here to change it different colors if you maybe want to have multiple things color coded. You can also add a comment here for them to see. And so in addition to having the text highlighted, they would see the comment as well. So they would just hover over it and click on it to be able to see it. In addition, you can add a sticky note. So maybe we highlight something and then we add a sticky note. And maybe we want to add it to this entire paragraph. So this is a little bit more detailed than just the one highlighted section. This is a little bit more detailed. Notice in the description that it will let you put in images, YouTube links, embedded codes, anything into this area. What's also cool is that you can actually create a video for this area. So I could choose this video icon, allow my computer to use it, and then I could actually create a video. Or maybe I ask my students, this says that you're going to fix that family tree by making a made-to-order ancestor. What do you think a made-to-order ancestor means? How could that even be a possibility? And do you think that that is real or not, legitimate or not? So I'd make my video, choose to use it, and it would actually embed my video right within this area. Again, you can also use the sticky note area to add in text or to put in links. You can go to another page and choose your Insert Learning, and then you can choose to add in different types of things if you would like, such as a question. So then anywhere where I would like to add a question, I would choose this, and then I could choose the question stem that I would like, or I can type a question here. So once I type in my question, I choose how many points it's worth, and then I save it. So by default, it's going to be a short answer question to where they type in their own. But again, I could also change it into a multiple choice question if I like. This one I'll leave as a short answer question. So in this case, I want to turn it into a multiple choice question. So I click here to do so. And as soon as I start typing, it allows me to put in my answer choices that you would see when you were using a multiple choice question. Then you just want to mark the correct answer. Next, we'll add in a discussion. So you want to choose the text you want to add the discussion to, and then just type in the prompt. Then you just choose to create. You can choose which classes to assign it to. If you are unsure what it might look like for the student, you can choose the More area and then View as a Student to be able to see what those questions are going to look like for the student. And again, you see it's basically Insert Learning questions embedded right within the website. So now when we are finished, we want to assign this to students. So we're going to come and choose Assign, and then we're going to pick the course that we want to assign it to and choose to assign. Now, when we go back to our Insert Learning dashboard, notice that we have two links, and one of them has been assigned to the course, but one has not. So if you remembered back when we were adding in our questions, I actually changed pages. So I added some questions here, but I also added some to the main page. So in that case, it auto-saved those questions, and I just needed to assign it to my course. So keep this in mind that when you're adding questions to pages, it's going to add it to that one page. So if you go to another page on the site, you're going to have to add in different ones, and it's going to make it a separate activity. So just to show you a little bit more of what I'm talking about, when I click on this one, it takes me to this main page, which is where I highlighted the words, added in my video, added in that link. So that is one assignment. But when I go back and look at the second one, it was the page where I added the question. So just remember that each page is going to have its own assignment. You're not adding it for the whole site, you're adding it per page. So at this point, it's time for the students to complete it, but remember, you're going to need to give them the class code in order for them to join it to complete the activity. So the student would then need to go to Insert Learning and sign in with their Google account. This student has already been added into a class, but he or she would need to add themselves into that particular class that we just created. So they would go to Classes, New Class, and paste in that code that we gave to them so that they can access the materials. Now that they're in that course, they're able to click on the lessons, and they're able to see the lessons we created. They're then able to click on them, and they're able to complete those lessons. So in this case, I typed to the discussion, and then I post it, and it would post to the discussion. It would show who said what. This one, I answer the question. It tells me immediately if it's right or wrong. And then this one is the short answer question that I would answer. Then it auto submits my answer and saves it. So I've completed the 3 activities here. I posted to the discussion. I answered the multiple choice question where it automatically tells me if it's right or wrong. And then I submit my short answer question. So then I would go back to my dashboard, and I would go ahead and complete the second piece. So with the second piece, I'd be able to click on this and look and see any comments, watch the video that I created, as well as click on the YouTube video to be able to see the more information that my teacher provided. Once I do both of those, I would simply need to mark them as done to kind of submit the assignment, if you will. So in that case, I've done all of the Insert Learning activities that have been assigned to me. So now logged back in as a teacher, we can do our grading. We'll go to grades, and then we can filter by our class and filter by the lesson. Notice that there aren't any questions on one of our pieces because it was just looking at information. There wasn't anything for the student to do. On the other one, though, we see the questions. So this one was the discussion that was asked. Or sorry, these are the questions that were asked. So it gives you the name of the student, when they submitted it, and what they said, and you can actually provide feedback and score it. Notice on the multiple choice question, it gives them 2 attempts and it'll tell you which one they answered incorrectly. So this person answered it incorrectly first, and then they answered it correctly the second time. This one answered it incorrectly both times. So it gives them half points if they answer it wrong the first time and then get it right. And then you can choose to put in whatever score you want, and you can always override that score. If you want to be able to view the discussions, you can actually go back to the lesson and click on the lesson for it to open, and it will actually show you the discussions that were being posted there. For long-term storage, you can download these grades as a CSV. The student is then able to log in just as they did before, and instead of looking at the lessons to complete, they can go to grades. They would be able to filter by their class, filter by their lesson, and then they would be able to see any feedback as well as their scores. As you create your own lessons, make sure to go to the public library here and look at different ones that have been created by other teachers and see if you would like to adopt any of those. And again, you can just choose it. You would be able to view it. You'd be able to see what had been added into it. It would load any of the markings that had been created. And then from there, you can choose to copy that lesson into your own area. It would then be available to you. You could click on it and then make any edits you would like to, or just leave what was already created there. And then from there, you can go ahead and assign it to your classes, just as you did when you created your own. And that's how to use Insert Learning.